And there you go. Fitch switching over to the Glock. Going to be able to catch him out. Gets the double on the round to join Dren with a 2-0-0 scoreline to kick things off for this one. In Kazakhstan picking up that pistol. And honestly, it was interesting to say the least, because France, they seemed like they wanted to go full speed over towards that B bomb site, and then they slowed things down. And that ultimately ended up being their demise. They were able to, or at least the Kazakhstani side, were able to get some nice picks to open up and shut down any initial push that could have been coming around from that side. So really nice decision-making there from the Kazakhstani side. And they will take that 1-0 scoreline, give themselves an opportunity at the 3-0 start. Nice dunk nade over the top of Boost as well.
Excellent stuff here for the side of Kazakhstan, as France has force bought into this one, though. They've got Misto boosted up off of that Deagle. They'll have to be cautious as they don't want to get that headshot in early, but Kazakhstan doing a good job of falling back until Matan finds himself with a Deagle frag. Down goes Fitch over towards B, so that's going to pull Adrian out from mid back towards the B site. Two players still inside of middle. Kazakhstan down a man here with 1 minute and 5 seconds left to play with, but they've been able to grab that M4. Adrian doing a good job.
Took him a minute.
Making the best of a bad situation.
Took him a sec to get that. I feel bad for me, so he's pretty much gotten annihilated by nades throughout this round, but it's XMS coming out from Squeaky, going to be able to find 2, and that's going to leave this in a really tough situation. Now it's down to a Dren versus 4. Probably going to end up having to fall back and hang on to this rifle. There is a player lurking out mid. That's Mathen, and he's actually not even going to get out. The pistol's doing the work. 4 players stay alive for the French side, and that is a massive round from them, as they're just able to completely lock it down with the pistol work.
What's really cool in that sense is that it's not just one player either for the side of France who just gets 2 or 3 deags and kind of pops things open. We saw NBK trying to make those big plays yesterday for France, and this time it's just kills across the board. Everybody doing in a little bit of their part, picks Kazakhstan to pieces one by one. Certainly they fall, but now straight away they're going to be getting aggressive here, trying to take the fight back to France. Fitch already on top of the boxes inside of B main, has to be cautious as there's 4 players nearby already stacked up with eyes on him. Now, of course, their 9th man in the form of Kyo still inside of mid, just keeping an eye on the flank. And currently, Kazakhstan has actually had the liberty of pushing into A main, keeping a little eye in there. And they should know now that this bomb is not rotating towards the A site, but rather mid/B. As they start to push up, this can get interesting.
And you can see Madhen's going to be leading the charge support from behind with the MAC-10, and there's the flank out from the middle. Kyo is going right around the corner trying to get it done, and he will get overwhelmed, but they do lose the B-bomb site in the meantime. And that's Lex overextending. He gets caught out. One more over there in the vents to try to deal with. That's going to be Mo. And he's tagged down to 26, so things falling apart here for Kazakhstan shortly, as it is going to be the 2-man advantage post-plant as well for the French side, and a little bit of a nade damage onto Hobbit takes him down to 89, so a difficult spot for the Kazakhstan squad to be in. There's the peek out from Hobbit. He gets taken down, and it's all on Mo. He doesn't have a rifle. He's just got a deagle in hand, and might be able to find one on a Nodik, who is playing in the site. Can't line up the shot. Now they know exactly where he is.
That was a nice little solid entry on the side of France. They play things slow enough that when they have players into the site with the bomb, they also can just use 1 or 2 players to keep an eye on exactly where they know the CTs are coming from. Kazakhstan hadn't rotated players back towards CT, back towards Heaven, but rather had that emphasis inside of mid. After peeking A main, they did rotate down towards mid a little slowly, and so when finally France does decide to execute onto B, all those players rotating hot on their heels in through checkers are just lined up by Matan. He's able to find 2 kills inside of the vents, really shuts down the play on the side of Kazakhstan, does not allow for the retake whatsoever, and now we've got France sitting on this 2v1 versus a near vanilla Vi for Kazakhstan. It's Mo with only a deagle and armor, and again, I've got a bit of a stack up here for B.
And already the damage going out. Mo goes off the board, and there's the peek again from Madhen. Finds a second, does get taken down. He didn't have head armor into the round. And another dink goes out. Fitch doing the best that he can to try to lock down that B-bomb site, but unfortunately going to get overwhelmed in the long run. Leaving it just down as Lex and Hobbit. Hobbit's over here in mid, but Kyo, well, he wasn't ready for that. I guess he knew exactly where he was. Clears out the angle. Only gets a MAC-10 for his problems. I guess. For his troubles. Kyo was the problem, remember. That will be the push coming around. Spicy. Dank, spicy memes, my man. Lex trying to make his way in from B main CT side. Not able to get the connection with that USP, and it will be a 3-round run for France before we see our first big full gun round on the board. It's Kazakhstan, they're going to invest in no AWP for Mo yet. His money was a little bit lackluster, 43.50.
What's also lackluster is the nade buy here for the side of Kazakhstan. They've got, you know, the most bare bones minimum stuff here, but not all of them have their smoke grenades. We've got 0 incendiaries, very few frags, so it's going to be interesting to see how it is exactly that France can play this if they do just kind of drag things out, allow for Kazakhstan to dwindle down their resources, and then play it out for the long run, because obviously you can see the 4 Molotovs here in the side of France. If they wanted to set that play onto the A site where they use the mollies to burn out all those back boxes, well, then the side of Kazakhstan doesn't have any smokes to very quickly extinguish those flames, and therefore they will have a real problem on their hands. Of course, now for Kazakhstan, they do still have their defense spread thinly across the map. They're taking things cautiously as nobody's gotten aggressive, but now there's a bit of a B rotate, and they could be getting wind of this as they try to re-solidify mid.
Yeah, this is curious. I mean, France, they're not taking any risks onto this one, just playing this one slow, trying to play the pickoff game. And Mo actually getting aggressive over towards A main. They might go for a pop flash in. They're going to check both sides, maybe. No, Mo's just going to walk into this, and he's going to get destroyed for it. And that's a little bit of a mistake. He didn't have a teammate with him to check the angles, and now Zlex caught out. So that's 2 frags on the A bomb site, and the push is going to be coming in towards B. So this leaves Fitch in a very dire situation. 2 players going out through mid for the mid B split, and then you're going to see the bomb rotating on in. So this is a really tough spot. XMS is going to get tagged down to 16, but it's going to be all on this hold from Fitch. He gets 1. Going to be looking for a little bit more, but he gets flushed out by a Molotov, and Misto is going to capitalize. So down to a 3 versus 2. A lot of work left in the round for the Kazakhstani side. No bomb plant just yet, but it will go down off of the back of Keo as they finally infiltrate that B bomb site. Now they've just got to be stalwart for this. And Dren trying to go for the peak. Can't get it done, and now Hobbit in a 1v3.
He's thinking about this one. You can see him trying to find an angle into the site, but nothing is given to him as of yet, so he still does dance with the idea of falling away. He's made up his mind. He's going to go ahead and save the Kevlar, save that M4, and give France their 4th round now as they extend their lead to 3. 4 consecutive after taking that pistol back from Kazakhstan. This is an excellent start for France, and maybe indicative of things to come. Now, with this lineup on the side of France, I wasn't quite sure exactly, Mega Man, how one-sided this game could have been. Obviously, Kazakhstan had showed us some promising things in the form of Dren's consistency, Mo's explosiveness, and then every once in a while, someone else for Kazakhstan would kind of step things up a little bit. I'm starting to worry for them as France is extending their lead round by round here and leaving them on the back foot as they won't be able to buy into this one economically.
Yeah, that's one of the things. I mean, you bring up a good point that the Kazakhstani side, I mean, we've seen, it's like you said, I mean, Adren has typically always been solid on almost every single map. He's probably the most consistent player in Kazakhstan, and also one of the most consistent players in the professional circuit. But hold that thought for just a second. Zlex does open up, but they find the 2 for over at the B bomb site. Madhin doing a great job on these entries, and now Zlex trying to make a play over by Vents. There's 2 of them, and that's going to be Madhin to spray down 2 more. He's got 4 on the round, could potentially ace it. The last player is over by CT, and he's going to go for it. He's going to try to chase him down. And Dren out here around the corner, going to try to line up the deep shot, and there's the ace. So Madhin, 5-man Mo down. He's 11-3, but to finish the point that I was making before was the fact that, like you said, I mean, Mo and Adren are usually the linchpin for this Kazakhstan side, but then you also had moments where Hobbit had a tremendous map, or Zlex stepped up in a big way on a map, and Fitch has also had some pretty solid plays from time to time, but as of right now, nobody's really doing anything. Mo's actually 0-4, so he's playing more like the NA Mo than the Kazakhstani Mo.
But this time he's got that AWP in hand, so that's going to be a bit of a change up here from the side of the counter-terrorists, and Adren going to be getting aggressive inside of A main, finding the opening frag, but also being the initial trade frag. It's going to be France back to the 4v4 as Kazakhstan does still continue to get a little bit aggressive here. Misto going to be missing a shot as Lex is burned out of the corner, and now that's going to elicit a reaction in the form of XMS peeking, but to the demise of he and for France, it's going to be Hobbit with the frag. So 4 versus 2 here as Matand and Keo do try to reel back accordingly, and Zlex in a nice positioning is here as he does take control of the squeaky room. This, of course, will be a thorn in the side of France if they try to execute out from A main. Hobbit nearby as well to support.
And this is a nice recovery from Kazakhstan. I mean, they're able to just leave Mo to anchor the B bomb site. The execute's going to come in towards A, but it's Madhin again to open things up. He's looking for a second, can't find it. It's Fitch to answer the call, but now it's Keo the problem. Can he get it done? He's able to find 2, and that leaves Mo in a tricky situation. 44 seconds. He's got the AWP, but no plant has come in just yet, so he's able to just lock down an angle for the time being, but Keo's so low. And Mo actually turns into that flash, but he does get the snapshot, is able to find it, and Kazakhstan finally able to find a second round on the board after they lose 5 in a row. But They lose 4 out of their 5 players, so this is going to be really difficult as far as the buy into the next round. Teammates
exactly.
too.
Oh, really? Nice little.
Yeah, just really
nice.
Parting gift. Parting gift.
Good for them.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, lots of frags across the board, everybody doing their work, but with, like as you mentioned, only Mo surviving, it's going to be that one op grandfathered forward, where rifles are going to be bought up here, but there is still a stark lack of utility on 2 of their players. And hopefully this doesn't come back to bite them. They've got the double FAMAS, but it is 5 AKs to the side of France, and they've got all the nades in the world here as they do start to set up some sort of strat outside of the A main play. This, of course, going to be for the mid control early. From here, of course, they've been able to execute into both bomb sites as of yet, and it's going to be Hobbit still trying to hold things out. Zed Connector is going to be smoked off. The flashbangs now going to be grabbing his attention, but still nobody out on the cross. He spots the molly, spots Matan, takes the frag. Now 1 versus 2 as 2 players do continue to push on up. Now, can they overwhelm him? The answer is yes, as XMS takes him down, spots 2 players up more into the site here. Misto trade frag back as the Dren is able to find 1, but he finds the second before burning alive to the 3v2 as Lex adds kills to the collection. Beautiful double headshot to close it out. Kazakhstan with another round onto the board.
And that makes things much more manageable going into this next round. Now, because the money was stacked up so big for France, they're going to have another buy. And they actually, I don't think anybody on that squad is an opper, so that's going to make things a lot easier for them moving forward in these rifle buys, because they're only going to have to spend $3,700 in order to get armor and rifles in their hands. Whereas the other side, you know, you want Mo to have that AWP. You want him to have utility behind it. He's got the, well, him and Fitch are the only ones that have kits, but this nade stack that just went into A main just wrecks No Nick. He's down to 28. The spam comes through the squeaky door. That's going to drop XMS down to 53. So finding early damage is going to be key for Kazakhstan, and right now they're doing it in droves.
Still no entry frag with 1:20 still to play with now. We're going to be seeing France fall back a bit from A main. Try to re-engage here on the side of Misto. He's going to be putting a Molotov inside of the vents as well. So Kio's thinking about coming out in towards mid so that he can help out, obviously, with the split onto the A site. But again, a volley of nades from Kazakhstan. Excellently done. They've now dropped 3 players with initial damage. Mo going to be finding an opening pick as well, and that's onto a man who had 100 health. So France now reeling backwards from this. They need to try to get the play happening with a minute left, but they lose Misto as well. So 3 players tagged. Excellent nade work, as obviously it's going to be panning out for them here on A.
Yeah, and Drin catches XMS trying to pull a nade out. The flash is going towards A main. Molly's as well. This is a full denial right here. And this is exactly what they needed on the Kazakhstan side. 5 players survive. They don't lose a single person, barely any damage as well. And now they're starting to swing that economy. And you can see, because like I said before, France doesn't have a dedicated AWPer on their side. They're going to continue to invest into this because they still have the money, but that is drying up now. Those 5 rounds in a row that they got allowed them to buy 4 rounds in a row now. But the issue is now that time has come to cease, and France has got to find a reply to this if they want to continue to buy into these rounds. And that's not a good start. Mo, I believe in mid, actually tagging Misto down to 11 HP through the side of the wall.
Yep, absolutely. Again, the early damage here to the favor of Kazakhstan. So France needs to find a response as Matan's being tagged down as well. Dropped to 34 here. Again, 3 players for France, full HP, but Matan also going to be dying now as Fitch finishes him off with a bit of fire, and Dren's going to be putting out his Molotov as well here as the push from the side of France does begin to rain on through. It's a nice little stack from the side of the CTs, but XMS makes a bit of space here as Mo does find 1 trade frag back. It's XMS to continue the onslaught. Mo spotting another player inside of Highway, able to find the frag, and that's going to be 1 of 3 as 2 more are simultaneously dropped to the favor of Kazakhstan. France cleared out entirely, and as again mentioned that the economy was going to start to be a bit of a problem, and we see that now here in round number 11 in the form of just Deagles and a Tech 9 as well. They've got the armor, sure, but it's really not what they're hoping for considering the buys that they've been able to put together in the last 4.
Yeah, no bomb plants in the last 3 rounds either. So that doesn't help the economy either. That's, you know, a few extra bucks in the pocket that they could have potentially bought another round in a row here. Great nade down towards A main. Finds some good damage over towards the stairs. That's a good nade outside of the B-bomb site. Goes a little bit too deep. Only finds 6 damage, but still every little bit helps. Now we see the peak come out in the middle. A little spam onto the smoke. That was well timed. Who was that? That was Hobbit over there on Highway. And Mo gonna open things up. That's like 3 or 4 rounds in a row now that we've seen him find that entry. Find that opener, and Hobbit able to spam 1 through the squeaky door. So things looking very, very good. Misto's on 1 HP, so Not a lot he's going to be able to do, and they're going to walk right into this. But Mo gets annihilated by that Desert Eagle. It's all down to Fitch and the B bomb site to lock it down, but he is only competing with pistols and very, very low players. Now it's all on the Mad Hen. 94 HP. Does get around towards E-Box. I believe he went in towards CT. Unfortunately, he's going to meet his demise at the hands of a Dren.
Another round where we see France take some early damage, find themselves kind of on that back foot, and then they react slowly to the execute, which is entirely shut down. It's been quite a common trend now over the last two, as Kazakhstan do start to put a bit of build behind them here. So not only have they now found an answer back to the 5 rounds of France, but they've grabbed that momentum away from them. So it's up to France now to not only find themselves with a couple more rounds, but also try and take this away from them, because Kazakhstan are just getting more and more of an advantage here, rooting themselves further ahead from France, who are at least back into the rifles, as you mentioned. This is an excellent spot for them to find themselves in, with nades to play with off the back of it, but still they are just spread out thin and trying to find some initial trades, or initial picks rather, which again can always be to their demise, as we've seen in the last 2 rounds where they take damage and then lose a player early on out. France need to make sure that they stay in the advantage throughout the entirety of round 12.
And we'll have to see. And, you know, real quick, just to talk about it, Nonik at 4, 3, and 8. I mean, 3 and 9 for Keo. As I just mentioned him, he does get another pick. Nonik. Nonik with the pick. Nice. But that's not the start that you want. I mean, Kiyoshima, you expect him to be one of the heavy hitters for this squad. You expect him to be, you know, the force to be reckoned with, you know, playing for FaZe, playing for, you know, Envious in the past and things of that nature. But unfortunately not going to be the case. But Nonik is able to open up this A-bomb site, does manage to pick off another one. They haven't cleared out the corner, and Nonik hits a nice trigger there onto a Dren, but Hobbit answers back with 2. At least gives Fitch an opportunity into the round until Matt Hind on the late lurk at B is going to catch him going up towards truck side, and France will be able to put another round on the board. The big thing, though, is because of the 5 rounds that Kazakhstan were able to win in a row and the amount of players that they kept alive, they're going to be able to formulate a nice meaty buy into this round.
All things tied up here. This is a nice little chance for France to kind of break things back. They've actually done a very good job of forcing Kazakhstan to expend all of their cash flow here. Considering that you've won 5 rounds in a row, you'd think there's a bit more bank built up, but this time, France looking to take it to them. This is a good potential round for a momentum shift at the very, very end of the first half here, as we've gotten back at the tie game. But France doing a bit, again, of just spreading themselves out. This time very much emphasizing A and just leaving Maten to kind of lurk around over here towards the B site. Keep an eye out for the flanks. Keep an eye out on the flank. But there's nothing coming here, as Kazakhstan do, again, not use this necessarily competitive and super aggressive CT side, but rather just sit out into the sites, allow for France to try and make something happen, shut them down accordingly, capitalize from there. And they have obviously grabbed this position again with Nonik dropping out in A main.
Well, that was a really good play from Zlex. Nonik got chipped down to 22 HP based off of nades, and then he jumps up on the top of the boxes outside of the inside of A main, and I think Zlex either saw him or had an idea that he was there, burns him out with a Molotov and gets the easy pick. So that's a nice bit of an opening, as well as Mo being able to find one outside of the bomb site. Now he does miss a shot, but this is a nice Molotov placement. Coming out of heaven is going to be a Dren, but the trade's going back and forth, and this is a opportunity for France. I know it is a 1 versus 2, but he's starting to back out of the site, and there is a player over by Vince, and I think he knows this. I think he heard a little bit of noise over in that area, but he's clearing all of his angles properly. He's going to be able to work his way back in. No bomb plant just yet, but he's going to start making the CTs try and second guess this one, but now he is going to go for the plant.
Kazakhstan definitely allowed for this bomb plant to happen, and now they're already trying to get in for the charge. And Hobbit, he takes the fight, aggressively peeking out from heaven. You see Misto try to react accordingly and take the angle to him, but that's, of course, going to allow Zlex to just clear the frag from over the edge of it. Excellent shooting here from the side of Kazakhstan. Excellent retake. Despite giving up the bomb plant to France, it did seem as though that's exactly what they were looking for. Just trying to play for the round win, because at this point, every little piece matters. It's round 14, and Kazakhstan are going to have to be bottoming out their cash in order to buy up into this one, and this will allow for them to keep an advantage over the side of France, as we see Nonik on only just some armor and Deegs, but Keo now picking up that AWP, so maybe this is what he needs to kind of get himself away from the bottom of the scoreboard, but it's a little late here in the first half, and France still trying to find another one, as they are sitting, again, on 2 pistols, 2 AKs, and that AWP. They've got the nades to execute if they need be, but they've spread themselves once again thinly across the map and try to just play for these standard picks.
And they're going to move this up in towards A main. XMS, now it's curious that they keep putting a player behind this box up in A main, because that is where Nonik has gotten completely naded out before. I mean, dropped down to sub 30 HP on a couple of rounds in a row, or a couple of rounds throughout this half, just from playing behind there. A high banked nade off of the corner of the wall will land behind that box, or at least up on top of it, and find some chip damage. But Keo, he's just holding for this MBK wall peek from Zlex, who's just holding stalwart for the time being. If they can roast him out, that would be great. But he gets the opener onto a Dren. And like you said, I mean, this might be the for the sake of the argument, this might be the weapon that Keo needs in order to get himself out of this little bit of a rut that he's got going on throughout this match so far.
Nice follow-up by Maten inside of mid as well. This is going to start to crack open the defense of Kazakhstan as their flank is entirely exposed. And you can see Maten just trying to toy with this as he sits inside of Zed. Zlex able to find one, traded back by XMS, leaving Fitch again in a 1v4 clutch. Round 14. So at this point, what does he do? Does he go for the save, considering, of course, that they will have to force buy regardless in the following round? Does he really believe in himself here? There are tagged players. He has the opportunity, but he's not going to be trying to force the issue. Instead, just reeling away, trying to find himself a nice little safe haven here inside of B main, secure himself a nice save position, as you do see Maten trying to flank around here and try to find a pick. He's going to be rounding the corner. Both players dancing with this angle, and it's going to be Fitch able to grab the headshot, excellently executed. And still, though, 1v3 as he tries to keep it up. But France able to tie things up at 7-7, and we again find ourselves with a tie.
Yeah, and this is almost a must-save situation for him. He has to get out of this alive to be able to carry over any kind of utility and stuff, because you can see there's money on Zlex. He can buy up comfortably into the next round. Hobbit and the rest of them are going to have a very struggly buy, and that's what I'm curious to see. What are they going to do? Fitch is able to drop over a FAMAS. Zlex, he's going to drop an AWP. Okay, so he throws over an AWP, so that's going to be even more expensive. He gets thrown the FAMAS, so you've got an AK, a FAMAS, a AWP, and 2 CZs. This is not the most unmanageable situation for Kazakhstan. The biggest thing was the fact that Fitch is able to carry over so much utility. He had the head armor, he had the kit, he carried over a flashbang and an incendiary grenade. That alone is $800 on the CT side. So that is a massive save for him to be able to bring that over. But look at this position from Madhind right now, and Fitch just gets caught out. So all that utility and everything that I just talked about all just goes to waste.
Isn't this the nature of Counter-Strike? With one click to the left, it's done. That's it. He's still able to find a bit of a footing here for France back towards the A side, as it is a 2 versus 2, and Hobbit is being able to grab himself that AK, but he's tagged up already, so he's not going to be of much use. It's going to be coming down to Mo, really, as the T side does able to cross the bomb. No Nick gets just on in with a nick of time, and Misto as well has to be sure that he's not shaved away. Mo trying to keep an angle up here onto the site. He spots Misto crouching around the red box, able to find the shot, connects it accordingly as No Nick trade frags back. That's going to be the AK for Mo here as he looks to try and push on up into the site. No Nick bouncing around the firebox, spots the player, but down he drops. And Mo able to find Kazakhstan their 8th round, as that one was incredibly close, trading frags back to back. But when Mo grabs himself a 3K into it, that's all they need. Kazakhstan with an 8th, and France going to be at that 1 round disadvantage, despite having 1 point had that 1-5 victory.
One thing that I want to point out that was a little bit of an unnecessary risk there for Kazakhstan that round was Zlex had a player pinned in Squeaky. I believe that was, it was Misto that was pinned in Squeaky last round. And he decided that he wanted to close the door and then reopen it and try to push into Squeaky to get the kill, as opposed to just falling back and holding the man advantage. He actually ended up dying and putting things into a 2 versus 2, which is kind of risky there. It worked out in the long run for Kazakhstan, but it would have been nice for them to be able to play from an advantage for a little while longer. Now we see a fast A push coming in. Mo already up by 4, spamming away his Madhind. He's going to get overwhelmed, but he somehow manages to find a pick as well as XMS, but they are going to eventually get traded out, and the retake is going to be on 3 versus 3 and towards the A bomb site.
There's going to be Zlex currently trying to keep an eye onto that cross, trying to keep players at base so the bomb planter can also rotate away, but Misto's finding the first frag and No Nick's finding the second, so this leaves it just down to Adren, and he's inside of A main right now. The bomb not planted for him, as Keo's going to be able to just get on top of it. He doesn't have a kit, but he will be able to stick it, as Misto does just keep Adrian back. So excellently done there, heads up play. Even in the case of the scenario where Adrian gets 1 or 2 frags, Keo was already so far into that bomb defuse that France had that round of the bag. It's 8-8, and Kazakhstan are on the back foot after the bomb plant, so they shouldn't force buy here if they want to get those AKs in round number 3. France, on the other hand,
Ooh, they do
go
force.
for it.
Interesting.
So I mean, they could justify it. Obviously, with that extra cash flow, they're going to be having a nice amount of nades. They do actually keep some cash on all of the players, including an 1800 on Fitch, but it's a very fast play towards A already.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with this buy, but we'll have to see if it works out for him in the long run. Is they're going to go for the opening pick, and it's Matt Hen to find it. Mo, though, answers back in a Dren, so this is going to work out for them in the long run. I mean, it's a 4-on-2. They get a player in towards A main. They've also got a player that's playing from the Toxic Barrels by Boost, the Shroud spot, if you guys are not as familiar. And Mo is going to go for an information gathering play. And with that being said, it's all down to Misto, and he should probably be saving this right now. But that was... I don't necessarily agree with a force buy in that situation, but the fact that it does end up working out obviously makes it okay. But, I mean, I figured the safe play in that one is to try to go for a bomb plant with maybe some upgraded pistols and then buy into the next round. But, hey, what the hell? It works out.
What's interesting is they don't even expend everything. They keep $800 on 3 of their players and 1.5 on another. So Hobbit's able to take down Miso at the end. That gun denied, so he never even got the chance to go for the retake, but then also still loses out. And yeah, keeping that extra little bit of cash flow, I would say if anything, you can justify the buy because you have enough money to grab that extra little bit of nades. When you can find that extra smoke grenade, you can try and set up plays. Maybe somebody's even investing into a UMP as opposed to a Tech 9, right? But Kazakhstan just goes straight for it. They spend the amount of money as if they had lost the first pistol round. As if they had lost it without a bomb plant. They don't expend that extra little kicker, right? Which to me is kind of bizarre. And as you said, it pans out. So how do we really criticize it, right? Kazakhstan back into the gun rounds here. They're going to be having 5 rifles into the round, so not looking to play around with SMGs. As Zlex goes big here inside of mid, finds 3 as Keo tries to refrag in from the boosted position, and not even that working out for him. So Mi's still going to have to try and play the 1v4, but he has no odds of winning this one.
Yeah, not really. Eagle in hand, body armor on his chest, but that's not going to be too good for him in the long run. But this is a replay of the first half. I mean, we saw CT Pistol go the way of Kazakhstan. Then they got eco'd 5 rounds in a row. This time around, we see France win the pistol round on their CT side and immediately get force buyed on, and Kazakhstan are able to steal that one away. So this is interesting to say the least. If it plays out the same way as before, obviously we would go into overtime, but again, I mean, you said it yourself. Slex went huge at the beginning of that last round. This time they're going to get more of a vanilla pistol buy. And Slex up on top of Boost. I mean, again, 1-2. Look for a third. Not able to get it just yet. Switches over to the secondary. He's got Fitch to back him up, and now the Deagle from long range, and he will find another 3K. And he's the one that's stepping up right now. He's at 21-12. Remember, this is the 34-year-old that's playing for their team. This is the old geezer out there. He's one of the few players that I know of that are actually older than myself. I'm 31, so I'm an old fart myself, but he's starting off very, very strong for this Kazakhstan side, especially on this T side. Back-to-back 3K rounds, 21 frags on the board, and if he keeps on like this, I mean, this is where we said, you know, with Mo and Adren, you know, being a little bit absentee on this map, they needed somebody to step up, and they're doing it. On the opposing side, Keo 5-14, and this is usually a map that he's really, really strong on.
And we've seen him try to change things up, going for the op buy as well. So it's not like he's just kind of stuck in a static role, but he's had the opportunity to switch things up. And regardless of what he does, there's just no frags until Matan does find 2 inside of mid. Comes on back from finding the entry frag and catches Mo blind on top of Boost. So excellent opening here for the side of France, thanks to Matan's aggressiveness. But it's not that it's for free. Falling back with 14 points of health, he could be a very easy refrag to the favor of Kazakhstan. 3v5, though, as they do still try to react to that initial loss on those players. But it's a good point that you mentioned Zlex coming up big, because Kazakhstan have actually kind of been using this storyline in multiple matches now throughout the TWC qualifiers, where if it's not Mo or Adren to be coming in big, they're at least putting up some form of numbers. And that's when one of their other players, kind of the lesser-known Kazakhstani players, goes absolutely big. We've seen it from Hobbit, we've seen it from Fitch, and now we're seeing it from Zlex on Cash. So excellent stuff from he and Kazakhstan as they have worked their way up inside of mid, but Hobbit's going to be getting a free haircut on top of White Fox, now down to just 2 players.
Yeah, well, those 2 players simultaneously open up that B bomb site, and this actually puts a little bit of an advantageous situation on the board here for the Kazakhstan side. 14 HP on Mad Hand, he's a bullet away from death, and they're going to pile in through vents, all 3 of them. And this is not the way to retake this site at all. Fitch finds 2, the last man comes through the vents, and Adren is going to light it up. That was a 2 versus 5 that they were able to win. That should never have happened. Nice recovery from Kazakhstan. Look at the money that they have as well. Granted, they have 4 rebuys, so they're going to buy down, but they've got numerous players that are 5,500 plus. That's massive right now going into this forward. And that also resets France. So they're going to be on the Desert Eagle buy 3 out of 5. We've got a 5.7 and a P250 to work with. But that's not a round that you should ever lose.
No, you're absolutely right. And now if you look at the scoreboard, actually, it's kind of interesting to see how the only difference between Kazakhstan and France is that France's top fragger isn't necessarily that far ahead, and France's bottom fragger is significantly further behind. As opposed to the side of Kazakhstan, where you've got Zlex kind of exploding himself up there, and Hobbit, who's at least still on the tail end of things, but up there. The side of Kazakhstan really kind of pulling their weight, everybody trying to do their job, and that's really what's been cementing themselves with the difference. And Kazakhstan walking things out towards the A site right now. 3 players nearby on the pistols here for the side of France. 4 of them already tagged, but XMS is able to find the opening Deeg, and he finds himself a second. Mo trading frags back, but No Nick connects one as well. It's 2 versus 4 here, and the pistols are panning out for France.
Panning out in a big way. This puts Fitch in a precarious predicament. He's down in a 1 versus 4 now. And with No Nick over in Squeaky Door, that's kind of the insurance policy. He's going to be able to watch for that flank to come around towards the Squeaky side, and he's also going to be able to re-peek back around because they do have the bomb down in the A bomb site. So this is a little bit of a wonky round, to say the least. One giving up his position over there, but the flank is coming around towards A main. Pistol work is going to come out, not able to connect the shots. Keo able to find a frag. Should be able to find a rifle as well. Gets the AK, and they're going to be able to carry a little economy forward for France, as that was a save. They were going to go for a big buy into this round, and it's Misto who picks up the AWP for the French side. So we'll see if he's going to be able to do any work with that.
Now, essentially what that last round is it's a comeback from the losing the 5 versus 2. Sure, okay, they get these Deagles round in, which is big, but all it does is kind of take away from Kazakhstan what they had that they should have never had. It's exactly that, right? They had enough cash flow to come back into this one with a buy, so now it's actually a very scary situation where France have to avoid the reset. Misto is able to find the opening op pick, so it's going to be France to the favor in the 5v4, but again, this is a big round for Kazakhstan. They had the chance to turn the tide of battle. Now they need to try to avoid it. We remember seeing, obviously, France with 5 opening rounds early on their T side before the CTs chime back in with a just dominating later half, and France are looking to get exactly that rolling here to them. They still have this 5v4, lots of mid-emphasis, so even Hobbit on top of the boost has to be cautious because he could peeking to his demise. 3 players nearby waiting for exactly this.
And we'll be seeing whether or not they're going to be able to recover into this one after losing Fitch early. Misto, I mean, he had stones on that last play. He just peeked into that Molotov looking for that, but does manage to stick around just long enough to be able to find that frag. And now coming up from the sandbags, I'm not sure if that was communicated or not because Mo had no idea that he was over there, and he gets caught out. Now it's down to Slex in the 1v4 as he finds one, but traded immediately by XMS, and that's going to be another round for France. Looking pretty good from the French side in the last couple of rounds here. See if they can continue on forward because that will reset the economy for Kazakhstan. You can see they're going to invest a little bit into this round. That's just to equalize the money out and go for a nice big buy into the next round. But Kazakhstan kind of back onto the back foot a little bit here. They do have a 2-round lead, but it's slowly getting closed in on by France.
Kazakhstan to start the play out here towards the B site. You can see France already kind of expending a bit of initial utility, but then putting themselves into safer spots as Keo does hold heaven, and then they've got Misto on the back of the site. But remember that he has an AWP, and you could get overwhelmed by these pistols, but instead he finds the opening frag, and Keo chimes in with his gun now as well. That's two each player looking for the full house, but Matan comes in from the back, finds the last one. Still an excellent round here from France as they're able to hold it out entirely. Kazakhstan given nothing for that push.
Yeah, so 1 round now being the difference. Kazakhstan still in the lead, but it's, like I said, it's evaporating quickly, and if they don't get something going again, then you could see France start to walk away a little bit here. Another reset would be a little bit of a disaster for them moving forward. Decent nadage in towards that mid-garage. They're playing this one relatively aggressive, but Madhen just gets chewed up. That AK spam right to the face. He gets caught out in no man's land trying to re-smoke mid-main, and he gets punished for that. Zlex is going to be able to find that with the assist from Mo. And a really nice opening, but look at the aggression, the counter-aggression coming out from the CT side. Misto going for an information play on outside of the B-bomb site. He might actually find a player, and he will. So they're going to give it right back, and XMS capitalizes, swings the advantage back to France.
This is exactly what Kazakhstan had to avoid. They had themselves that 5v4, and now they're shut back to the back foot. So Again, it's not even like they're able to keep things equalized and then play from there, just using the advantage of being on an offense. But no, they now have to find themselves punching back through the wall of France. And that's going to be another one to XMS as he finds the headshot to Mo. Lex peeking wide and from highway, able to find No Nick and connect the kill. 2 versus 3, but again, because they're at the disadvantage, even these kills from Zlex are only trading what they have already lost, not necessarily taking an advantage for his team. Keo able to refrag back as well. This one just going to be leaving Adrian as he does walk out in towards Forklift. There's a player close by. XMS in the smoke, but he spots the barrel of Keo, so that's going to be the first frag. Did he hear the second ever? That's the question. He's got 30 seconds to play with. He needs to find a bomb plan. He's aware of the fact, of course, that there could be players nearby. That's going to be another one as XMS comes around the top of the box. Misto, 1v1 clutch attempt here versus Adren's A-site plant.
This is actually tricky. Misto over by Z gets spotted out, and that gives Adren a little bit of breathing room. He's going to be able to find a little bit more of an area to work around to, and he gets over towards Forklift. So Misto's not going to have an idea. He thinks he's still over a quad. And you can see he's working his way up towards the site, giving up his position, footsteps raining on out. And now, well, Adren playing this one smart. Took a little bit of a sloppy spray, but he's able to get that 3 versus 1, and Kazakhstan back up to a 2-round lead, and that is a little bit troublesome for France, to say the least. Nice play from Adren, though. He was very, very patient. It's a little unfortunate XMS wasn't able to help Keo because he was sitting in that smoke. He had no idea where Adren ended up going. He actually got in towards the site before that player was able to spin back around and find him, and nicely done from Adren. Really well played.
France with some presence inside of the bottom of mid already here. Matan, we've seen him get aggressive inside, but this time it's going to be actually Mo who finds a frag, and that's going to be the opening for the side of Kazakhstan, where they find themselves in an advantage, a spot that they haven't been in all too often. Bomb starting to rotate out through A main. This could get caught out as Matan's going to see it. Adren killed, and that's going to be another one answered back now for France as they find themselves back to the 4v4. Matan looking to find some more space here, but he drops as Hobbit is able to find the headshot and a second as Fitch connects the AK. 4v2, make it 1 as Nick drops as well. This is all going the way of Kazakhstan.
Yeah, not a good looking round at all. XMS with a little bit of a sneaky play, pushing out through A main, is able to backstab on Zlex, but now they know exactly where he is. Most likely where he's going to be coming from, either Vince or B main. They've already got a player pushed out tree room as well. That's Mo with the AWP just watching the Z hallway. So honestly, I'd be surprised if we see XMS go for this one. If he saves, Madhin can buy, Keo can buy, XMS can drop one over, and they will probably force into the next round because it will be a 14-11 scoreline. So we'll see them throw the kitchen sink by at this next round, most likely. But it's very pivotal that XMS stays alive here.
He's sitting mid, and there's nobody really around him, so he should be able to get this one off.
Yeah, they're not really going to challenge on this one. They don't really have a lot of money on the T side to go for the chase either. So him just hunkering down by the boxes outside of Vince is going to be the smart play. So there you go. And here comes the buy. So this is going to be the big buy down that we were talking about before. And it's just going to be a matter of time. It's actually a double up setup for the CT side of France. So this is going to be them putting all their eggs in one basket. It's Keo and it's Misto that have the AWPs to work with, trying to counter out Mo. But it's going to be a little bit tricky for them moving forward. Now, I did lose my co-caster. He timed out of TeamSpeak, so I'm just going to solo for a little while for you guys. Hopefully you admire the sultry sounds of my voice as I bring the noise for you. But No Nick, Pop Flash comes out around, and Fitch, he's not ready for it, but Madden can't land the shots, and No Nick's going to go in, or pardon me, Fitch is going to go in on 2 there in mid. He's able to open up an entire avenue of attack for the terrorist side, and now they can go pretty much anywhere with this one. They can either go up through A main from highway and split towards an A main crush, or they can go through the vents and go for a B crush. But they have pushed out Misto again with the AWP at B. He might get caught out, and he will. Nice awareness from Zlex, just watching for their backstab. And now it's going to be down to Keo and XMS. Keo might have just spotted one on highway. That's Fitch. Not able to line it up, and Fitch and Hobbit going to go in. That's a 15th round now for Kazakhstan, and things looking very good for them on our opening map. Now, remember, this is a best of 5. This is going to be a best of 5 for you guys. And the map picks for this was Kazakhstan chose Cash, France chose Nuke, and then it's Mirage, Cobblestone, and Overpass if we need it. But the way that things are going right now, I'm not really sure what to expect when we get to Nuke. It's kind of a surprise pick. I don't think we've actually seen it all that much in this. We'll hold that thought for now, as it is a fast push here from the CT side outside of B. Adren and Hobbit going to be able to trade out from Fitch. The Deagle comes out from Keo, able to find one and done. It's down to a 2 versus 3. Fast flank from XMS, but he has to spot the Vince. in order to push his way on in. And they've got the lurk out in the middle, and Zlex, the insurance policy, going to be able to find one more into this round, leaving it just down to Matt Hin. See what he can do into this, as they are going to continue to push in towards B anyway. He's going to be looking for this one, finds one, looking for a second, does good damage onto a Dren, bails out through the smoke, still alive with 100 HP. He could very well do this. They're going to rotate that bomb back on out. Unfortunately for him, that pop flash from Zlex on the mark, finds the headshot, and finishes it off 16-11. Zlex top frags with 28 kills and 18 deaths. The old man gets it done. And I'm going to send it back over to the studio so they can try to break this one down for you guys. Go ahead, George and the boys.